Investors, I hope all of you had a great day. Today I had a very good day myself, so I feel really good about that. I finished with a 2.23% gain today. Year to date, that put me at 210.92%. That's way above my yearly goal, which was 200% this year, so just keep marching along, getting better. And then also I brought back day trading with 10% of my portfolio, and I did some of that today. The results were really good at a 13.2% gain. I only did 2 trades. Once I got done with those 2 trades, it was like up 13%. Let's call it good. And so that's what I did. So I had a couple sales. One was FDX, sold FedEx for a 0.3% loss. Really wish I would have held this through the day. It did climb and actually had a pretty good day. So I'm happy for all of you that still have it. I did sell it for a small loss, wishing I didn't, but that's how it goes. Then I sold SCHW, Schwab, for a 2.5% loss today. It just wasn't responding to the insider activity, and I just thought that my money was better off somewhere else, and so that's the reason why I went out of it. I mean, it's one of those things where yes, it's a loss, but we move on, and now we catch something great that really makes us a lot of money. I also wanted to talk about the 3 things that I look for when I'm trying to pick a bio stock. So when I'm adding a bio stock and I'm trying to pick it out, there are 3 criteria that I look for, and so I kind of wanted to talk about that today because TRVN is running so well. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, do they have enough cash? So if you're considering a biotech stock, you need to really take a look at that. And so how I do that is I go to the last earnings report and I look at the earnings call transcript and I take a look at how much cash they have on hand. And then I also pay close attention to what their burn rate is. I do the math on how many months it's been since that time to the time period that I want to own that stock, and so that way I can feel very confident that there's not going to be a public offering or a direct offering. So that is step number 1. If it doesn't have that, I don't recommend getting into a bio stock because those offerings can kill you. Number 2 is, does the stock have a solid date to run up to? I love run-ups. And if you have a stock that doesn't have any kind of set date, like it's going to get a FDA approval sometime, well, that's a tough stock to own because you don't know exactly when that catalyst is going to be. And so there's nothing for investors to get excited about and run up to. I love how solid those run-up plays are. And so I look at those PDUFA plays because the FDA says, hey, on this day, we're going to make a decision on this stock. I love those because you see the anticipation and you see investors get excited and get into that stock, and so that stock just increases over time. And that's definitely what's happening to TRVN right now, that and other things. We got a solid PDUFA date of August 7th and investors are getting excited. That's one thing you really got to have. You got to have a solid date. It's really important. And then number 3, and I know a lot of their price targets are kind of ridiculous, but you got to look at what the analysts say. If analysts aren't picking a stock to be up, let's say you go to analysts and it says it's a sell and expected that it's going to drop in price, typically that's not a good one for a run up. It just seems like the stock price is already priced in. I really don't think the analysts are right a lot. In fact, they're wrong an awful lot. So it's almost something that I pay attention to, but not really. If you're picking a bio stock, it's something that you really need to take a look at and see what the analysts say. And I like tip ranks for that if you're looking for a good source for that. So we have a great group that's growing and it's getting bigger each and every day. It's a great group to be a part of. We help one another, and it's our Patreon group, and it's something you might want to take a look at and check out. I think that it would definitely be worth it for you for the price that it costs. You'll make your money back with just one great trade. I just want to encourage you to take a look at that, and all these picks immediately I update that group. Whenever there's an insider or anything that's great that happens in the market, I point it out there first. So anyway, check it out. It's definitely worth it. We'd love to have you aboard. So there are 2 stocks that are not on the top 7 list that I wanted to talk about that I still own. And one is LPCN. LPCN I haven't been putting on the top 7 list because its PDUFA date is so far away. But I'm just holding this. They have a testosterone replacement therapy that I think is going to be really marketable. And so that's the reason why I like that stock. And so that's coming up August 28th, and I'm going to hold it, and I'm expecting a big run up on that. So definitely have lots of time to get into that stock. The next one that's not on this list again is TTOO. TTOO is just a really long hold for me. They have their sepsis test that's really so great, and we're waiting for FDA approval on their other tests. And so I'm just holding it. I know that there's been a lot of talk about this reverse split vote coming up next week. That's actually, I believe, August 6th or 7th that they have that vote. And, you know, I'm concerned and I'm not concerned just because I am so long term in this stock. I plan on owning this stock for a long time. It wasn't a quick turnaround for me. And I know it's going to run sometime, and it's going to run big time. And so I'm just holding until that happens. Let's get to the top 7 list. Number 7 is BAC. The reason why I like Bank of America is because there was a $800 million insider by Berkshire Hathaway, which a lot of you know is Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett put $800 million into BAC. I'm relatively confident that that buying is not over, and so I've been holding it and expecting more insider activity to be reported. Number 6 is FENC. They have a PDUFA date coming up of August 10th. And this drug, I feel, is very marketable. It's for hearing loss. I think that this is a stock that will run quite a bit later this week. Probably getting into next week, we're going to start to see it really go up. And this is a great stock to own. You have plenty of time, and it has not run yet. So this is the time to get into that. Number 5 is ONCT. This stock is doing great since I put it on the list. I had another great day today. I had insider buys, not only by the director, but by legal counsel. And it was done with a direct offering, and so that was pretty cool to see officers step up and get in there. That offering's closed now, so I'm expecting this stock to really rise up. It got beat down because of that offering, but it looks like all of those shares have been eaten up, so it should be rising and continue to rise. So ONCT is a great stock to pick. Number 4 is LEVI, Levi's. I love Levi jeans. I wear them all the time. Christopher McCormick, he bought quite a bit of shares the other day at $11.92, and guess what he did again today? Today, after market closed, he bought more shares. So more shares were reported in his SEC Form 4. Levi, I believe, is really undervalued, and this is the perfect time to get in because this stock has not really moved up yet. But now that we have a second insider buy in just a few days, maybe a third, maybe a fourth coming up, so I'm feeling very confident about Levi, and I think you should too. I think that's a good one to have. All right, number 3 is ASA. This is brand new to the list, and this is precious metals, and precious metals are hot right now. Alexander Merck, the COO, so the Chief Operating Officer, he purchased shares in open market, and so I'm expecting this stock to continue its climb. It did very well today, and I'm expecting it to continue. I don't think there's really anything in the way on this one, and especially with what's going on and everything in the world. I think ASA is a great stock to get in. All right, number 2. Number 2 is a company I used to work for, good old AT&T. So AT&T had a $3 million insider by Direct and Stephen Luzco. $3 million, and there is no dividend coming up. The dividend's passed. And so to put $3 million in now is not very strategic unless there's something going on. So I think that this is going to be a huge insider. So this was just reported tonight, so this is really fresh data. And so I think you should be jumping on T. I have T in my dividend portfolio already, but added more definitely for my Catalyst portfolio. And so I think T is really going to climb, and it shouldn't be at $29. It's been at $29 for a decade. It's time for this stock to move up, and so I could see that definitely happening. T is a great one to get into. And number 1, I have to make it number 1, is TRVN. As I mentioned before, TRVN is really surging for a couple reasons. One is because of the PDUFA date and their pain reliever drug that they have, but also because of a blood clotting drug that they have and is getting more and more attention. And if you've been in this stock since the time I recommended it, you are way up in it. And I want to say thank you to T-Loop and Captain Fatballs for also recommending this and telling me about this stock. I'm expecting this to just really be the beginning for this stock to really, really climb. I do a lot of work for this list, and so one thing I'd really appreciate if you could hit that most amazing and wonderful like button. I would really appreciate that. And also, if you've seen this for the first time and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you can get the reasoning behind my picks. I put one of these videos out every business day. I hope all of you have a great rest of the week and that we all make some money and get this market hot and going. Raythoven out.